Hey, this is Mike Code with roofingsalesman.com and Mike Code Marketing. I did this very interesting case study for my mastermind members and some of my paid subscribers last year in February. And I wanted to pull it out for you because it's not the local roofing companies that are ranking in the top 10 search results of Google. It's actually big brand websites that have the majority of the rankings. This is important to you because if you think your local roofing company is getting the exposure it needs in the search engine optimization results, it's probably not. It's probably going to a big brand website. Let me show you the 29 major markets that I looked at. And I apologize, this is kind of casual here. You might hear my dog barking or you might hear my kids come and go, but here's the 29 major markets. I don't know if you're in one of these markets, or maybe you're in one of the suburbs, or you're in a smaller town, but for this case study, these were the markets. Areas like Columbus, Ohio, Jacksonville, Florida, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Tulsa, Wichita. And what I did is I looked at who was most likely to be ranked number one. What I wanted to find out was the number one ranking, did it go to a local roofing company or did it go to a big brand website? And what I found was interesting, very eye-opening. HomeAdvisor was actually ranked number one almost 70% of the time in these major markets. 70%. That's actually astounding to me. Better Business Bureau was ranked number one in 20% of these cities. Yelp was ranked number one twice. And Thumbtack had a number one ranking one time in one of these major markets. What's interesting to me, so very interesting, is not a single local roofing company outranked any of these big brand websites, of these authority websites, in any one of these 29 major markets. That means when somebody goes to Google and searches for roofing Tulsa, Oklahoma, they can't find a local roofing company ranked number one. They might be able to find HomeAdvisor or Better Business Bureau or Yelp, but they can't find a local roofing company ranked number one. They have to scroll down the page to find the number one ranked roofing company that's not a big brand. And you wonder where your leads are going, huh? So who's most likely to be ranked in the top 10? Not just number one, but the top 10 overall. There were four sites, four of these authority websites, four of these big brand websites that were virtually guaranteed to show up in the top 10 almost every single time. And Angies List did show up in the top 10 every single time. In every one of the major markets, Angies List was on the page one. Thumbtack, 28 out of 29 times, HomeAdvisor, 27 out of 29, and Better Business Bureau, 26 out of 29. Better than average chance of showing up was Yelp and Yellow Pages. And there were 5 other sites that made it in the top 10 occasionally: Prime Buyers Report, Porch, Yellow Book, my favorite roofing company, shingle supplier, GAF, and Kudzu also showed up. They say the best place to hide a body is on page 2 of Google. That's an internet marketing joke. Not really funny, but if you're on page 2, you're probably not getting any calls from search engine results. And there are some of these authority websites, some of these big directories that are showing up on page 2, and they're selling local roofing companies advertising. So you're paying for advertising to be on these websites, but they're on page 2. That means nobody's finding them. That means nobody's finding the advertising you're paying for. And you wonder where your advertising dollars are going. Some of these authority websites ranked on page 2 through page 5. Ranking number 50 would be Prime Buyers Report, Indeed, which is actually a job listing site, Yelp, Facebook, Porch, GAF, Yellow Pages, Manta, 3 best rated, and interesting little directory called Hometown Roofing Contractors. I don't know if they're still there. This was almost a year ago when I did this case study, but Hometown Roofing Contractors was a lead gen site, and they sold leads to people who wanted to buy leads, and the way they got the leads was from rankings. Also ranked number 11 through number 50 at least twice: Blue Book, House, Union Roofers, Guild Quality. BBB showed up occasionally in numbers 11 through 50. Yellow Book, Best Picks Report, Fixer, and Dex Knows. And there were a few sprinkled in here that had number 1 rankings and number 11 through 50. I guess the biggest ones here would be Valpak, Nextdoor, Super Pages, maybe Craigslist. So this begs the question, if you're a local roofing company and you can't be number one on Google because they give all the number one spots to big authority, big brand websites, where do you need to be? Well, number one, you need to be on Angies List. Now, I know Angies List is not the same as it was in February of 2017. HomeAdvisor acquired them. I think that was completed in the fall of 2017. Paid $500 million for Angies List, and then shortly thereafter laid off 20% of their workforce. So if you previously worked for Angies List last year, there's a good chance you don't have a job today with HomeAdvisor because they let a lot of people go. But Angies List had more top 10 rankings than any other authority website. They're a trusted consumer guide. You used to have to pay membership dues to be able to get in and read the reviews, so the reviews are very clean, not a lot of spammy reviews. Now, if you have a listing on Angies List, you have to maintain a clean record with Angies List. You can't have anything crazy going on. Otherwise, they'll remove your listing from public access. So that means when somebody types in roofing Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Angies List shows up there, one of the top spots, and the prospect clicks on Angies List, the companies that are listed there are only companies with a clean record. If you don't keep your record clean with Angies List, you'll be removed from those listings. Number two, where do you need to be? HomeAdvisor. Now, HomeAdvisor is a huge directory. You can get a free listing with HomeAdvisor, and you should get listed there because they spend a lot of money on Yellow Pages. They spend a lot of money on commercials on TV. They spend a lot of money in other marketing channels. They drive a lot of traffic to their site. Plus, they get listed at the top of Google. So you do want a free listing with HomeAdvisor. However, one warning. If you sign up for a free listing, one of their salespeople is going to call you repeatedly, and not just once a month, but like several times a month until they either get a hold of you or you tell them to take you off their list. As far as HomeAdvisor leads, the jury's still out on those. I've had contractors in big cities tell me it was a waste of money. Contractors in small rural areas tell me they got good results, but they just didn't get many leads. Buyer beware. You need to check it out for yourself and decide what you think about HomeAdvisor, but you definitely want a free listing there. Number three is Thumbtack. I've noticed that Thumbtack in 2018 doesn't have as many top 10 listings, or they don't have as much visibility as they used to, but you need to get a free listing with Thumbtack and fill it out as completely as possible, because that listing is a citation source and it does help your rankings in the search engines for your local roofing company. The lead program, for those of you that use Thumbtack, know it's a little different. You have to buy credits, and then the credits are paid off based on the set price of the leads, and every lead is different. You know, roof repair is different than roof replacement, and gutters are different than siding repair. So they only sell the leads to a few buyers in that category, and it's first come, first serve. Now, I can tell you that the results are also mixed with Thumbtack. You get a roof replacement lead from Thumbtack, and it may be a guy just wanting to re-roof his shed, or it may be somebody needing to do a huge commercial project. You just don't know. But you want to be listed in the free directory listing on Thumbtack. Number four, Better Business Bureau. Better Business Bureau is a hot topic, and if you follow me for any amount of time, you know that I recommend getting listed with the Better Business Bureau, getting accredited with the Better Business Bureau. Not because I think the Better Business Bureau is good or virtuous, or I think the Better Business Bureau is beyond reproach. There are plenty of people on both sides of the Better Business Bureau. But put that all aside and just think of it very practically. If your prospect, if the person you're selling or the person you just sold thinks that Better Business Bureau is important, and they check Better Business Bureau and you're not there, guess what happens to your sale? It becomes a lot harder. It becomes a lot more difficult for you to keep that sale, or it becomes a lot more difficult for you to keep them happy, because they'll be worried about whether or not they have any leverage on you if something were to go wrong. So you don't need to be accredited to have a listing with the Better Business Bureau. Let them know you're in business. Let them know the vital information, and you can refuse accreditation. If at all possible, they'll get listed, even if you're not accredited. Number five, Yelp. Yelp's another one of those companies that will call you repeatedly once you sign up for a free directory listing. They want you to pay for their add-on advertising programs. And, you know, I don't know anybody that's had a lot of good luck with Yelp. I'm sure there's people out there that have, and you may be one of them. But you should get a free listing with Yelp, because Yelp ranks on page 1 of Google often. And when they click into that Yelp profile that says the top 17 roofing companies in your town, you want your company to be listed on that page. Now, another thing that's interesting about Yelp is that sometimes it's not a category page with a bunch of roofing companies that's listed on page 1 of Yelp, page 1 of Google. It's actually one single roofing company that they've pulled from Yelp that gets listed on page 1 of Google. Now, this happened a few times, and there is, some search engine optimization that goes along with this, but you may be the one roofing company that's pulled from Yelp and gets listed on page 1 of Google, so it's important. Get your company listed with Yelp. Finally, number 6 is Yellow Pages. There's a lot of old directory websites, books that used to be around that converted to online directories, and most of them have fallen by the wayside and they're not any good anymore. But Yellow Pages is still a winner. You need to get your company listed on yellowpages.com or yp.com. Fill out the profile as completely as possible. Yes, you are going to get sales calls, and they're going to want to upsell you on additional items for your listing. They're going to want to sell you on their marketing program. They're going to want to sell you on having a video added to your listing. They're going to want to sell you on having bold in your listing. They have all kinds of upsells. But get the free listing and start there. If you want to spend money with Yellow Pages advertising, that's fine. But I've found personally, and the people that I market for, that the ROI is usually lower than where you can put your money in some of the other marketing opportunities out there. But the directory listing, the free one, it's still valuable, so get it. Here's my closing thoughts. Even though you can't get your roofing company on page 1 of Google, what you still want to do is focus your marketing efforts on the areas that are most likely to create visibility for your company, because visibility equals credibility. If I go on Google and I search for a roofing company in my hometown and I click through to HomeAdvisor and there you are, that's credibility for you. And the two biggest problems any roofing company or any salesperson has to solve is trust and credibility. And visibility equals credibility. You can additionally acquire more visibility with pay-per-click. Those are the ads above the maps when you search. Maps optimization, which just puts you in the maps listing when somebody searches for a roofing company in your hometown. Or even SEO, where you can compete with these big authority brands to get more traffic to your website. But it's crystal clear. On average, authority sites take up 5.5 spots out of the top 10 in the major markets. That means there's only room for 4 or 5 local roofing companies in the top 10. In order to get your roofing company in the top 10 below the maps, most likely you're going to need an SEO campaign. In all markets besides Atlanta, local maps optimization only lists local roofing companies. Now, in 2017 in Atlanta, they also listed Kudzu, which is a directory. If you go to Atlanta today and you search for Roofing Atlanta GA, you are not going to find Kudzu in the maps. Most likely. It's been a long time since I've seen them there, so they're only listing local roofing companies. But both local and authority sites compete in the pay-per-click above. You'll see HomeAdvisor in the pay-per-click. You'll see Better Business Bureau in the pay-per-click. You'll even see some lead gen sites in the pay-per-click above the maps. And local and authority sites compete below the maps too for the search engine results. If you want to get more roofing leads and you think your roofing company can benefit from somebody that knows what they're doing to get more visibility for you, I'd love to hear from you. Go to roofingsalesman.com/roofing-leads. You can read about my lead programs there. You can read about my marketing programs. Fill out your name and email address. You'll even get 4 or 5 emails from me talking about how to get more roofing leads for your company. This is Mike, roofingsalesman.com, and the owner of Mike Code Marketing. I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope this has been valuable for you.